A well-coached wing T team will beat you with 8 sequence plays. You'll know exactly what's coming and you still can't stop it. I've been calling plays for 15 years, and it took me 7 years to realize why the classic offenses have stood the test of time. I started coaching at the height of the spread era, and I got enamored by all the yards and points they were putting up. And I thought that was the future and only way to run an offense. After some mediocre seasons as an offensive coordinator, I was struggling to find the answers I needed. It wasn't until I went back and studied what the classic offenses were doing that I was actually able to build an offensive system. So today I'm going to show you why you should study the wing T, why it's so effective, and how even if you don't run it, the principles will help you become a better coach. The most important lesson that the wing T taught me is that you should be sequencing your plays. First, you should be starting with a North Star play. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot. A North Star play is the play that you set your whole foundation off of. It's the play you're going to run and master no matter what. The play that you're going to be known for. When you have this, it makes putting together the rest of your offense easy because all you have to do is see the defense's adjustments and attack accordingly. So for most wing T teams, that's going to be the buck sweep. That's where it's going to start, which there's nothing special about this play. You're just going to get a double team here at the point of attack, and then you're going to use angles. The first guard's going to kick, and the second guard's going to wrap. Wing T teams are going to start their sequencing by faking to this fullback here before they give it to the tailback on the buck sweep. This is important because it sets up later plays. They're going to start here and see how you plan on stopping it. And then they're going to have plays off it ready to go. So naturally, they're going to wait for these linebackers to start over pursuing when they see those pulls. And they're already faking to that fullback up the middle. So now all they have to do is run trap. But the action is going to look the same to the defense. Fullback's going right up the middle. Now he's getting the ball. And then you're going to get the fake to the tailback. So now with the same action, the same pulling, the linebackers have to worry about trap and buck. We've attacked vertically with the trap. We've attacked horizontally with the buck. Now here comes the waggle. So we're still going to fake to the fullback. We're still going to fake to the tailback. But now the quarterback is going to roll to his right. And we're going to get some sort of 3-level flood. We'll do the comeback with the 2 deep drags here. And a lot of times they'll try to leak their fullback out into the flat after that. So 3 plays with the same fakes that look alike to the defense. We can attack a lot of areas of the field. It doesn't matter what offense you run, this is how you should be setting it up. Start with your North Star play and then build plays that look alike but attack other areas of the field. If you want to learn more on how to build these sequences in your offense, I put together a free training called the Core Sequence. Just click the link in the description below and I'll send it your way. Now there's nothing wrong with running the classic wing T sets, but maybe that's not your style. So let's apply it to a different offense. When I first started learning these concepts, this is the offense that I installed and how we sequenced it. We were a pistol wide zone team. So our North Star was wide zone, and it still is to this day. So we started by running wide zone strong. Now, one thing we did was we added a constraint already in the play with a screen to the backside. Having that in automatically put this will linebacker in conflict. So if they wanted to try to outnumber us with their linebackers in the box, we had an answer built in. So just like the wing T, we had to figure out what the defense would do and how we would attack it next. So wide zone was like our buck sweep, which is more of a horizontal stretch. We needed something downhill that could take advantage of those linebackers overrunning. For us, that was duo. We wanted to make it look like wide zone to those linebackers, so we would still reverse out and the running back would just take a tighter landmark. Our hope with that action is we get the linebackers coming over the top and we'd either hit that A gap because the mic overran, or we could get a nice cutback on the backside. This allowed us to attack every gap we needed to in the run box. And then just like the wing T had their waggle pass, we had our boot. So we were going to give that wide zone action, hopefully get some sort of rotation here or overflowing so we could attack the backside and then create a 3-level flood. So now we could attack horizontally, we could attack downhill, and we could attack vertically, all with the same action. It's taking the principles of the wing T and applying them to our specific situation. This is the foundation that makes those offenses so successful. So let's look at another example. We're going to go to the weak side this time and with our jet belly series. So we're going to motion this wing back in every single one of these plays. When you're setting up these sequences, if you have a motion, make sure all the plays in that series have that same motion. Only having a few specific plays with motion is going to be a tendency that defenses are going to pick up on. Using sweeps is a great way to create conflict. So let's start out with the jet. We're just going to base block this across the front here to keep that consistent, and we're going to hand off, and we're going to have this tailback lead block here. After the quarterback hands off, he's going to reverse out and fake to the fullback here. Hopefully that fake holds one of the linebackers and we can hit that alley. Now, if the linebacker is scraping hard over the top and making the play, then we go to the actual belly. So we're going to fake to the wing back this time. Now the tailback is going to lead and the fullback is getting the ball. Now the secondaries get involved and we want to try to go over their head. So we need a pass. Now this is where you can get creative. We've got this guy motioning across, so maybe you can go a post wheel with a drag, and you can leak him out late. You've got a lot of options here. The key is to know who's in conflict and attack that area. All right, let's give a different offensive perspective. Let's look at a McVay-style zone offense, but we're going to use the same concept here. We're going to use the H here as our jet motion guy. Now our North Star, our bread and butter here, is going to be a wide zone variation, a split mid zone. So they're zoning here. The Y is going to come back to kick, and we're attacking more the outside leg of the guard instead of all the way to the tight end. Looking to either hit this in the A gap or the backside beat. These backers here have to deal with both the wide zone to the left and the jet sweep to the right. So if this will isn't biting and he's playing the zone, we can go ahead and call the give here. So the quarterback will turn and give to the H, the Z will lead block, and we'll still get the split zone action, and the quarterback and the tailback will fake that. So now you've got two horizontal plays going in the opposite direction for the defense to deal with. We're going to add a third here where we could run duo back to the other side. So if they are slightly bumping here, we can double these two, have the Y kick, and run duo. So now we have 3 plays. We're attacking horizontally both ways and one right up the middle. And then we've got to have the pass. We're going to leave the Y in to protect, because we have this H to be the flat guy, and we're just going to run a typical skinny post with a cross concept here. So fake the wide zone, more of a half roll than a true boot since we're protecting the edge, and a 1, 2, 3 high-low read. So you can see, even if you're not running the wing T, the principles show up in all kinds of offenses. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to take your offense and start with whatever your North Star play is. And then can you fit every play that you run into one of those sequences? Does every play you have answer a specific question? If it doesn't, you probably don't need it, or you need to tweak it to fit into there. Our job as offensive coordinators is to create conflict, and you do that by making your plays look alike and tying them all together so the defense can never be right. And if you do that and you don't like what you find, click the link in the description below and get the free core sequence training. So the wing T isn't dead, and you can learn a lot from it. If you want to be an elite play caller, study every offensive system that stood the test of time. The wing T is just one example. All you need is one play to start with and a short number of series to protect it. So stop collecting and build a real offensive system.